The Joy Business Van, empowered by Joy Business and supported by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Ayisha Awudu Ali grew up in Bolgatanga in the Upper East region where smocks are very common. The traditional attire made from handloom strips is very popular in the 3 northern regions of Ghana, worn during special occasions. Shaaliwud began for Ayisha in 2015 after national service in Accra.
I was thinking of whether to go back to school or what was I going to do after national service. So I started selling the traditional smocks. I did my service at Roads and Highway. So some of the directors could ask me, Ayisha, when you go to the north, I want you to get me a smock. So I was like, okay then, I think that's a business to start. So I started bringing the smocks. I go to Bolga and make them, the traditional ones. And then I bring and sell it to some of the directors and then some of the people at the ministry.
If you've worn a smock before, then you'd have realized it is quite heavy, and some people Ayisha sold to would complain. That sparked the creativity in her.
I used to get people say, oh, I like these things, but you're too heavy. So I sat down one day and I was like, okay, so what can I do to make it lighter, easier to wear, and then easy to handle? So I started making skirts, and I made one for myself first. So when I wore it, I went to the ministry to sell. And then somebody asked me, like, oh, what's this made from? And I'm like, it's made from butter. Really? Can you make this? I'm like, yes. So that's how it actually started. So I started making skirts. Then along the line, I decided to make stuffs for the men as well. So that's how it all started. Because I wanted to make it simpler, easy to handle, easy to wear, and make more people get attracted to what is actually coming from the north. Most of the time, I sit down and think about, that's when they say creative director. You have to sit down and think about what you want to do differently from what you have already done. So sometimes I just try and draw them myself. And then some of the women I work with, they also help me out with some of the designs. They draw them and show them to me. What do you think? Is it possible? Because our fabric is quite different from the African print. It's heavier to work with and very difficult to work with. So sometimes they draw the designs and they're like, Ayisha, do you think the Batakari can do this? So it takes a process. We have to look at the design first, considering our machine, our fabric. So that's what goes into it.
Getting the smocks though is not an easy task.
I actually work with some of the artisans from Yerungu. It's a town in between Burkina and Bolgatanga. So most of the artisans are there. I remember the first time I was going to see them myself. You know, when I got there, I was like, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. But I'm like, okay, if I don't do this anymore, how am I going to promote my stuffs? So getting there, it's a very rough road, and most of the people don't speak English. So if you can't speak Fafra or French, you can easily communicate with them. So I remember the first time, you know, from the road through Bolga was smooth. I was excited. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to see Yorumongo for the first. You know, the road got very rough. The roads were really bad. So one of the challenges is with the people I work with, even the road to where they work. It's actually one of the problems for even our business. Because sometimes you can do stuffs, but you're not on time because getting them from Yerungu to Bolga, before you bring it from Bolga to Accra, it would take a very long while.
But Ayisha makes the trip frequently anyway. Her trendy smock designs have caught on, earning Shaaliwud a place on the Ghana Startup Club 100.
I actually didn't know how, but you know, they opened up the platform for people to nominate businesses. So I didn't know whether somebody saw what I was doing and appreciated me and nominated me. I was just on my phone and then I saw that somebody had tagged me on Facebook. And then when I checked, it was the Premium Startup Awards, and I saw Shaaliwud there with other businesses I've been admiring all these years. So I was like, okay, so I've been nominated with all these people. It means, you know, like I'm really doing well, and I can do better as well.
But even more gratifying for Ayisha is the fact that she's making the smock attire more popular and creating jobs for many in the north.
The reason why I actually started Shaaliwud was to make people appreciate what was coming from the north. And I've always loved made in Ghana goods. I remember when I used to be in secondary school, my slippers were made from Bolga. You know, I make them into sandals and then take them to school are so different. So I think my love for made in Ghana goods, and then to just let people appreciate where I'm coming from and the things we have in the north. That's why I started Shaaliwud.